nationwide. Yep, nationwide. 615,000 to digitalize photos of the Grateful Dead items. Now that's your tax money, but you know where that money should be going? In the hands of entrepreneurs. It should be back to the people whose money it was taken from. It should not be in the hands of the government. It's some bureaucrat saying, this is what I'd like to do. I don't care if it costs $500,000 or $2 million. It's not my money. Number 4, we got to stop the job-killing taxes. President Obama, in his new budget, has recommended $2 billion increase in taxes, including eliminating the Bush tax cuts. Now, what that does, it destroys jobs and businesses. In a sense, it's like legalized plunder of families. $2 trillion. You know how you dissect some of this? The last report I saw is that your charitable contributions would have a portion of the tax. You have an IRA, 401k, that's going to be taxed. This is wrong. And we can't have these continuing things with taxes. And you're hearing this battle all the time. And basically what we're finding out right now, what you're seeing is class warfare. Today, all over the news, was the wealthy is getting away. We got to tax them, you know, everything will be okay, our deficit will be solved. We got to just tax the wealthy. When they say tax the wealthy, they're talking about taxing the millions of small business owners who create the jobs. That's what they're talking about. And when you talk about this, it's the politics of envy and greed. Envy and greed. You know, for example, if I said to you, I like those glasses. I want your glasses. What? You won't give me your glasses? Well, I sure wish I had those glasses. That would be kind of jealousy. You know, I really want those glasses. But politics of envy is destructive. Somebody has something I don't have. And so in the case of his glasses, I'd say, I want those glasses. You won't give me those glasses? Now I'm going to break those glasses. And you're not going to get those glasses, and I'm not going to get those glasses. Envy is insidious. And that's what they're talking about now, is creating a battle between the haves and the have-nots. The problem is, those that have are the ones that create. And that's what we need to happen right now. And so it's a class warfare that's going on, and it's so long. Now you're talking about California. Let me just go to California right now. This is our beautiful state. I was born here. I love California.
Well, you're lucky to be a native.
I am. And I got client after client here in California who's moved to Texas, who's moved to Nevada, to Arizona, wherever else. Why? 48th worst individual income tax state, 49th worst bond burden, 49th worst cost of business, 49th worst business friendliness, 49th worst top tax rate, 50th worst sales tax, 50th worst gasoline tax, 50th worst utility tax. You know, you're paying 51% higher than anybody else in the world. 50% worst school partial tax, 50% worst bond rating, 50th worst in capital gains tax. Businesses make more money if they leave. I have somebody I know who has a business where for years it's been a manufacturing business. But because of permitting and regulations, they can't expand. They can't grow. They have trouble just staying alive because of the regulations. What are they doing? They're moving hundreds of jobs to Mexico, hundreds of jobs to Texas. Now, you may think that's wrong, but that's what they have to do because of bad government policy. Bad government policy. You know, Northrop over here has all this construction and aerospace. but the parts come from Texas. Not because they wanted to come from Texas. They can't produce them here in California. And we see this in one business after another. I just saw a video interview with a guy who has a trucking company. He's had it for 20 years. He's got his whole life investment in trucking. And because of government regulation, he's probably going to be out of business next year or the year after this. A company has a beautiful new technology with an aircraft. We're the aerospace capital of the world here. He's got his 20, 30 employees now. He's ready to go to the next step and start doing some manufacturing. He's moving to Texas. California consistently ranks 51st, last of all behind even Washington, D.C. by Chief Executive Magazine. Not only do I look at the reports of all the businesses leaving, I look at the reports of all the businesses that decide to build elsewhere or expand elsewhere. It'll drive you crazy. This is a government man-created recession that we're in the state of California and beyond. In fact, April 16th was the day that if you're the average person, you work for the government 100% until April 16th. And then after that, you can keep everything else you want after 100%. That's horrible. You add in regulations, it goes to August 27th. And this is America. This is what's dragging our economy down. And with the taxes, let's just talk one thing about the taxes. You know, they talk about we've got to take those with $250,000 and above and tax them more. They're getting away with it. Those with $1 million are getting away with it. Well, let's look at the math on this, okay? Those who have a $500,000 or more pay $256 billion in taxes. If they pay 100% of everything they make, all 500,000 or a million, whatever it is, the government would get $1 trillion. But the 2011 annual deficit is $1.6 trillion. We would be $600 billion short, even if we took everything anybody with $500,000 or more has. And what would happen to jobs and businesses? It would be a crash. So we need some solutions. And if you like more specifics, I'll be glad to give you some. I'll just give you a few. The first thing is that in last Christmas, instead of making the Bush tax cuts permanent, they're going to be up somewhere around 2012, 2013. Every business owner in America doesn't know what's going to happen to them at this moment. And so there's this cloud of uncertainty. I'd like to hire more people. I don't know what's going to happen. Corporate tax rate. We have the highest corporate tax rate. Guess where? In the world. In the world. It used to be Japan was higher than we are. They lowered theirs. 35% to 20%. We just dropped it. 35 to 20%. We create 5,000 jobs instantly. Tax on foreign earnings. My opponent keeps saying, we got to tax those corporations that have all that money overseas. Now here's the real issue. That money, $3 trillion, is overseas. Why is it overseas? Because the taxes are too high. And they can't take it back to the United States without basically having it stolen from them. So how do you get back the $3 trillion? Take the tax on foreign earnings down from 35% to zero, that they would bring it back to the U.S. You want to see thousands of jobs, thousands of new innovations, thousands of new reinvestment in capital? This is the way you do it. You don't try to tax what you can't tax. All you do is drive more money out of the United States. And stopping the out-of-control regulatory agencies is step number 5. As a business owner, I deal with companies constantly who are faced with regulatory issues that are either cutting their ability to operate, putting them out of business, or at the most, at the worst, or at least, is making it so they can't expand. One regulatory issue after another. The Environmental Protection Agency, right now, the big battle on that is what they're doing in West Virginia, where the Democratic senator there is on the floor of the Senate almost every day shouting, "You can't do this to our people," because they're shooting the price of electricity and heating up enormously. And they're causing people to be fired because they're shutting down a lot of the activity there. The Bureau of Employment Standards, you probably heard about this. This doesn't sound like it's coming from America, but here is a successful company that determined they would save money if they built a plane in South Carolina. And along comes this bureau saying you can't build in South Carolina, you got to build in Seattle.